Did you know at this very moment someone is on Amazon and Etsy actively looking for a quality coloring and activity book to add to their shopping cart? The only question is, will it be yours? Since you're listening to this podcast, hence the name of the show, it's pretty safe to assume that you have a keen interest in creating and selling your first or next coloring book. And it's for that reason I want to assure you you're in the right place. And I'd like to help you make it a reality by inviting you to check out the Coloring Book Creator Mentor Program, the first of its kind complete A to Z course that features live weekly coaching, resources, templates, and an extremely supportive online community, all designed to assure that you create a standout in-demand coloring book that you'll actually enjoy creating, promoting, and selling. Imagine the feeling of knowing somewhere in the world someone is adding your beautiful new book to their shopping cart, investing in a piece of your creativity. Enrollment is open and you can get started by going to coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. That's coloringbookcreatorcourse.com. Welcome back to the special edition of the Coloring Book Creator Podcast. Over the next 10 episodes, I'm going to walk you through a 10-step roadmap I've created called Validate Your First or Next Coloring Book Idea Before You Make It. Now, if you listen to the previous two episodes 1 and 2, I talked about step 1, getting clear on what makes your coloring book idea more sellable than others. And in step 2, I talked about uncovering your unique point of view and point of differentiation so your book stands out. Each of these episodes builds upon the other. So if you haven't listened to 1 or 2, go back and listen to those first and then come back to episode 3. Because in this episode, we're going to talk about how to use a Google search formula to research book ideas and begin to validate the market. Now, in step number 2, I said to check to see if there are any books out there that are currently similar to your book, and because to verify if there's something already out there. Sometimes as creatives, we can think that we want to be the first to market, but that's not always the best strategy, because if you're first to market, that means that there's nothing proven before you. By having other books similar to what, not exactly what you want to create, but similar to what you want to create, is a way to test market viability or interest viability. Are there people out there already purchasing this book? Also, if you didn't watch that training, I did like a little mini video where I showed you how to actually find books and put there's a way to check to see how the book is selling. I'm going to deep dive into that a little bit more in this episode too. So that research tool, I'm going to put in the show notes of this episode as well. But essentially what you want to do is you want to go to Google, and what you want to do is you want to type in the Google search. You're going to put in the subject of the book you're thinking about creating. You want to use the plus sign. Then you want to write out coloring book, 2 separate words, coloring book, and then you want to hit the plus sign again, and then you want to put in Amazon. So you'll go to google.com, you'll type in your book's subject, so you could say birds plus, not plus, but the plus sign or the add sign, then the words coloring book, the plus sign or add sign again, Amazon. And you want to then hit return and see what books come up. By doing that, Google will give you a list of the books that are ranking pretty much the highest because of the keywords or SEO that person who published that book has put into whatever platform that they're on. And what you're going to want to do is you want to go to that platform. In this case, we're going to say Etsy or Amazon. You're going to do it twice. You're going to do it once for Etsy and again for Amazon. So let's say in this case, we did Amazon. You're going to see pictures of book covers show up in your search result. You're going to go over to that platform and start looking at those books. You're going to want to see what the title of the book is. You're going to want to see what the cover looks like. You're going to want to see how they describe the book, what copy that they used, the sales material that talks about the book, Sometimes they'll give information like as to the size of the book. Is it 6 by 9? Is it 8 by 8? Is it a 5.5 by 8.5, an 8 by 10 or 11? You want to look at that information. How many pages are in the book? What's the style of the book? That's very important too. Is it a mandala style? Is it a black paper with white reverse type? You want to get a sense of what that book is about. You want to see how that author positioned that book. Are there any graphics on the page that support the visuals of the book to give the viewer more of a sense of what the book looks like? You also want to scroll down and look at the reviews. That's very important. You want to see how many reviews the book has gotten. And if the book has gotten reviews, you want to check the 1-star or 2-star reviews as much as you want to check the 4 and 5 and maybe even 3-star reviews. The 1-star reviews, and why I emphasize checking those out first, is because that's going to alert you to the potential problems that the person who has had with the book. Sometimes it's around things like paper quality. It can be around repetitive designs. It can be around things like that. Not necessarily that the book itself is not best quality, but there's a lot of variable reasons why the book got such a low rating. You want to see what that is, because that can also inform your own point of differentiation. Now, I know you're listening to me on this. You're not watching this on a video, but there is a part of the listing on Amazon that is called BSR, or bestseller rankings. It is listed on the sales page for the Amazon listing, somewhere near where the price is and the ISBN number, or from Amazon's case, it's called the ASIN number. But there's a literally lettering there that says BSR, or bestseller ranking, and there'll be a number there to the side of that. If it's in the 5-figure range, they'll put a comma there. And if you see that comma there, you'll need to take that out. But the point is that watch the accompanying video that's available here in the show notes, and go over to the Kindle tool that I've given you access to type in what that BSR is, what that number is, and how to check or get an idea of how well the book has been selling. So again, you'll listen to this, but then go into the show notes here, go check out that little video tutorial, and then I'll show you in the video tutorial exactly where to find that BSR, a bestseller ranking. So you don't have to guess about where it is. I'll instruct you in the video on how to do it. So again, that link is available in the show notes. Then you're going to want to do the exact same thing. Go back to Google, the same subject, the plus sign or the @ sign, coloring book, the plus sign, and then Etsy, and do the same thing there. Did you find books similar to the subject? What's the cover art look like? What's the theme? Who's it targeting to? How did they talk about it? What's the description? What kind of reviews did it get? That's the first preliminary level of research. And what you want to know is, what was your result? Now, inside of your prep guide document, which you should have downloaded already. If you did not, go over to mycoloringbookidea.com, fill out your information. You'll get access to a PDF that you can use, which you should be using with this series. And you can record your research findings. What did you find out? And as you're looking through these ideas that are already out there, start thinking in your head, how can I make mine stand out? What can be my point of differentiation? Really quickly, I'll just go over a few ideas. Maybe, for example, the coloring books that you see on the market are just that. They're just coloring pages. But perhaps to make your book a little different, you could feature journal pages. You could add word puzzles. You could have a Spotify playlist of your favorite tunes that a colorist can listen to while they color. And you can put a link to that playlist inside of your book. Perhaps you make YouTube videos. So perhaps you have a video of you demonstrating something. In the case of, I mentioned in episode number 2, Margarita Madison's book on tea, she could make videos showing herself preparing some of the recipes in her book. And those videos are available on YouTube. Maybe you offer classes or workshops, and your book now becomes a part of that curriculum. Maybe you can take your designs, like what Michelle Wolf is doing, and turn those into products, and maybe open an Etsy store. You might consider starting a podcast on the subject or theme of your book and interview guests that's connected to the subject and theme of your book to bring in fresh perspectives. Bear in mind, your book doesn't have to be drastically different in subject matter. Your point of view of differentiation can focus on experiences you can create to accompany the book. So I want to encourage you to think beyond the book itself and ask yourself, how can I stand out? How can I create and offer experiences for my book buyers? So again, go back, listen to this episode again, download the prep guide, start filling out those questions that I asked you into your search results, your research results from Amazon and from Etsy. Start thinking about how you can make your book slightly different or the way you market it slightly different. And then we'll come back to talk about it even deeper with using ChatGPT in step number 4.